I'm Vince for RTM News. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. So Donald Trump has just released a statement in response to the obviously assassination attempt that occurred once again yesterday, and he is holding back no punches, directly going after Kamala Harris and many of the Democrats, arguing that their divisive and insane rhetoric towards the guy may have inspired this attempt on his life. So check it out. Statement here from Donald J. Trump. Democrats' rhetoric inspired another attempt on President Trump's life. Yesterday, President Donald J. Trump was the target of a second assassination attempt in as many months. Thankfully, the would-be assassin was stopped by the heroic action of law enforcement, but make no mistake, this psychopath was egged on by the rhetoric and lies that have flowed from Kamala Harris, Democrats, and their fake news allies for years. Democrats used increasingly incendiary rhetoric against Trump in the days, weeks, and months leading up to the two assassination attempts, and folks, they here brought the receipts. So we have Kamala Harris repeatedly, Trump is a threat to our democracy and fundamental freedoms. It's on us to recognize the threat that Trump poses. Does one of us have to come out alive? Ha ha ha. Those are all comments there from Kamala Harris. Joe Biden said it's time to put Trump in a bullseye. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Trump is a threat to this nation. There is one existential threat, and it is Donald Trump. And obviously, this list goes on and on. They talk about Tim Walz. Glenn Walz says, bye-bye, Donald Trump. Nancy Pelosi, a long list of Democrat congressmen. The list goes on, and folks, I don't think I exactly have to tell you this, but don't worry, we don't have to sit here and read every single one, because they also put together a video compilation of the very things that the Trump campaign is talking about.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish. I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
That you cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
President Walker, how do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
When they go low, we kick.
Please, get up in the face of some Congress people.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Now, this is obviously smart political rhetoric, but of course you could sit there and say this is not fair. This is a slippery slope because we should not equate political rhetoric to violence, except the only problem there is that cat is out of the bag, because even amidst this Trump assassination attempt, the mainstream media has been accusing Trump of doing exactly that for saying much less, right? They have been saying that Trump saying what he said in the debate about Haitian migrants is quote unquote inciting violence against Haitian migrants in Springfield, despite the fact that to this point, not one incident of actual violence has really happened. Nonetheless, they're still doing this to Trump.
Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio. This weekend, there were new bomb threats in that town. Our Maggie Vespa is in Columbus, Ohio, with more.
So I look at it and I say, okay, if they are going to play that game against Trump, which is you are responsible for stuff that random psychopaths do, I genuinely think in the wake of another assassination attempt, if they're going to do that, it's perfectly fair for Trump to do the exact same thing. And it's not exactly like we have to speculate on this. Even this FBI expert went on CNN today to explain, yeah, their rhetoric about how Trump is Hitler and all this stuff may have had something to do with what happened. Genuinely, we're not even making this up right now.
That he wanted to survive, say to you?
It says that he's not he's not suicidal, apparently. He wasn't going to take his own life if he was almost being captured. Clearly, we saw that he was captured without that. And it tells me that he's probably much more politically motivated. The last shooter in Pennsylvania, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to promote him in any way, but he was clearly a guy that was looking for the notoriety of taking that shot. I would think we're going to find that this guy's extremely politically motivated and that he probably was spurred on by much of the political diatribes that are going on these days, talking about Trump, equating him to Hitler and things like that. So I don't think this is the last we'll see of crazies out there trying to do this.
So it seems pretty definitive from everything we've seen so far that this was highly politically motivated. And again, just imagine if the situation was reversed here, what the media would be saying. So for Trump to go out and say, well, you want to talk about rhetoric? Let's have that conversation about rhetoric. There's a strong correlation there. I think is perfectly fair. But that said, the accountability, especially of the Biden-Harris administration, goes a lot deeper than rhetoric because as we saw in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th, the situation with RFK Jr. when he was a presidential candidate, and still here today, their Secret Service, which is still part of the executive branch of the federal government, is still not doing enough to protect President Trump. And I think that is a lot stronger proof of accountability for this whole situation, much more than any speculation you want to have about rhetoric. How much did that contribute to what the guy did? How about the basic common sense fact that Trump does not have enough security? You just saw what happened 2 months ago, and yet still to this day, he still did not have enough security.
At this level that he is at right now, he's not the sitting president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course around it. Well, because he's not, the security is limited to the areas that the Secret Service deems possible. So I would imagine that the next time he comes to the golf course, there'll probably be a little bit more people around the perimeter.
He's not the sitting president, so he doesn't deserve adequate protection. Folks, he's the Republican nominee running for president in the general election cycle. He's obviously a former president, but I think on top of that, and most importantly here, he just survived an assassination attempt 2 months ago, and still Secret Service, apparently, according to the Palm Beach sheriff there, did not think it was necessary to, I don't know, secure the perimeter once again. And even the excuse that he's not the current president is not really an excuse when you consider that apparently the reports are that President Obama enjoys more Secret Service protection than Donald Trump, who is the active presidential candidate. And folks, I really wonder why that is, right? Surely that could not have anything to do with politics and the fact that Obama was a Democrat, right? Right?
According to the Secret Service, the golf course yesterday was not fully secured because, quote, Trump is not a sitting president. Oh, really? Let's take a look at the kind of security President Obama has. Since he's no longer a sitting president, we've got pictures here of President Obama's golf course in Martha's Vineyard. Secret Service inspects every vehicle when they even drive near the course, Cheryl. So what's the answer? He's not a sitting president, yet the golf course that he's on is incredibly secure.
All of these questions should be answered because remember, in the fiscal 2025 budget that has been proposed, there is a budget increase again for the Secret Service. And I think that this all goes up to the top, and that is Secretary Mayorkas, Maria. That's who needs to be answering these questions right now.
So again, I think this is the most damning part of now a second assassination attempt for the Democrats is, you know, again, because we can obviously have that conversation about rhetoric and is it inflammatory? Is it their fault? Whatever. But this, I say, is directly their fault. It's direct fault of Biden and Harris because they are the executive. They are in charge of Secret Service. And we have another example of them failing again. And let's not forget, back when this happened the first time, it was well documented that Biden was essentially lowballing Trump when it came to Secret Service protection. There were many concerns about that. He refused to offer any Secret Service protection to RFK Jr. We saw what obviously happened. Okay, and I would argue back then even Biden was accountable for that, but especially now, there's no excuse. You let something happen the first time, you gotta assume, right, what just happened a couple months ago, security has gotta be on the maximum level people, and yet once again, it was not. Meanwhile, President Obama, when he goes to golf, he gets full protection. Yeah, that is highly politicized. It is highly reckless. That I would say Joe Biden and his leadership over Secret Service are directly responsible for. That said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts on all of this. We talked about a lot in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, I've been Vince with RTM News. Peace.